Hello Fix-It fans. So as you can see, I've got a new project sitting on the table today. Now this one arrived a few days ago and it is a realistic STA-20 receiver. Now this one is made in Korea. It is from 1975 and it is a massive 7 watts per channel. So if you buy yourself one of these, be careful that you don't blow your speakers up with it. Now I've been after one of these for a little while now because I wanted one of these for a bit of nostalgia, because I had one of these little realistics when I was a kid and I really liked it, and from memory I do remember it being a pretty decent sounding little receiver. Now it's not very powerful, like I said, it is only 7 watts per channel, but it didn't seem to lack power. And when I was a kid, I had quite a lot of this realistic stuff because it was everywhere. Everybody had this realistic stuff years ago, and people used to give it to me. So I've had quite a lot of it over the years, and I do think this STA-20 was one of the better sounding ones. Now it's not going to sound as good as one of the big ones because some of them big realistic receivers are really good quality. This is not like one of them, but out of like the smaller ones, I do think this one is one of the better ones. And look, I'll show you that there. It's got a really old-fashioned plug on it. So that plug's probably been on this receiver since it was new, because that is a really old style UK plug. And because it's got that old fashioned plug on it, that is the reason that I've bought this one off the computer as untested, because the seller said they had no way of plugging it in. Now I know they could have changed the plug, but they didn't. They just listed it as untested. So the tuning dial seems to work good. The buttons do, except for that speaker button. That speaker button there just does not feel right. The volume on it, it feels loose. It feels like the pot's working properly, but it's really loose and moving. So the balance feels good on it. So does that treble pot, that feels like it's working properly, and does the bass pot, that feels alright. These switches all feel good on it. And the selector, that's clicking across nicely. The selector feels like it's working properly. So it's only really the speaker button doesn't feel right and the volume feels very loose on it. So as you can see, it is a bit dirty, the front of this. It looks like it's had stickers or something on it at some point and someone has taken them off. And it's left all the residue behind, which will clean off. So I do think the front of this one's going to clean up really nice. And the cabinet on this thing is in excellent condition. That cabinet is going to polish up lovely. And the cabinet on this one, it is one of them ones where it's a complete cabinet, so it's like a box. It is not just a lid, it is like a complete box, and the receiver part will slide in the front of it. So let me find my tape measure and I'll do the measurements of the little realistic. Right, so I've got my tape measure and it is 16 inches wide. The depth of it is, it's just over 11 inches, this one. And the height of it, it's not very tall, it is 5 inches tall. So it's not massive, this receiver, but it has got a little bit of size to it. It's not a tiny receiver. So I'll just put the camera down for a second and I'll turn it round and show you the back. And you'll see with the back of this one, it is all nice and made out of metal. So this is a quality made receiver. It's not one of them budget receivers where the back is made out of like a cheap bit of cardboard. This one is built to last. So if you look at the back there, you see what I mean, all nice and metal. It's got nice air vent up the top of it. So it's got your screw parts there, so you can connect your aerial bits up to it. And then it has got a phono stage, an auxiliary, and your tape connections. And it will take 2 sets of speakers, this one, so you can see there the main speakers go in the top there on the phono plugs, and then the remote speakers connect up at the bottom and go on them 4 screws there. So it's got one AC outlet socket and a fuse there on the back. And if you read that writing there on the back, it says custom manufactured in Korea for Radio Shack, a Tandy corporation. So Radio Shack was like a shop in America that was everywhere that sold this realistic stuff, and we had the same shops in the UK selling the same items, but in the UK the shops was called Tandy. And I don't know who made this receiver, because Realistic did not make their own gear. All these receivers are made by someone else. So if you know who made this STA-20, can you let me know please, because I really don't know who made this one. And when you go online and try and find out about this realistic stuff, some people say a lot of it is made by Pioneer, they say a lot of it is made by Sansui or Sanyo or Hitachi, or they say JVC made some, and the list goes on. It seems like every company out there back in the day was making these realistic amplifiers or receivers for the Tandy Corporation. So I don't know who made this one. If you look in the corner there, it has got a little RS badge on it. Now that RS company, I think that company still exists, and it makes like electrical components. So I don't know if they had anything to do with this one, because it is like on the front of it. So I've just put the camera down and I'll put it on top of these two here just to give you a size comparison. So that one I've stood it on, the one with the black face, that is a Sansui 310 receiver. And it is about the same size as that Sansui. If you look at them, they are very close to the same size. And it is a bit more powerful, that Sansui, because that Sansui is 15 watts per channel. And there's 3 years between them two, because like I said, the Realistic 1975 and that Sansui is 1972. And that nice big Pioneer at the bottom there, that is an SX750. Now that's in a different league to these two, because that is 50 watts per channel, and that one I think is from 1976. So that's the newest one out of them three, and the most expensive by a mile, because that Sansui and this Realistic are not really that expensive. But that Pioneer is, that one is highly sought after. Everybody wants one of them. So if you want one of them yourself, you're going to have to get your cash out, because one of them will not be cheap. Whereas the other two, I do think are little bargains in the world of vintage hi-fi, because them ones don't make that much money. And that Sansui really is a decent sounding receiver. I can't vouch for this realistic yet because it has been years since I've heard one of these, and as I said, I've bought this one untested, so I have not heard it yet. But I am looking forward to getting round to this one and opening it up and going right through it on the channel, because it might even work, this realistic. The seller I got this off, he does house clearances, so he has a load of stuff on his listings where he does the house clearances, and now and again he has vintage amps or receivers on there, and I have bought a few off of him before that he had listed as untested for whatever reason, and they actually worked. They had nothing wrong with them. So this realistic might even be working, but I will go right through it on the channel first before I power it up, just to make sure there is nothing wrong with it. So I shall test right through it, see if it's got any faults with it or not, and then I shall change the plug, give it a good service, and hopefully the little realistic receiver will be back in action. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.